Hello, everybody. It's Monday, and we're here for this part of Hashtag Creatives podcast episode. Our guest today is Mimi Kelly, a filmmaker, playwright, and lots of other things. We'll be talking to her. But before we have her introduce herself, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Alan Greenstein, founder and producer of the organization as part of Hashtag Creatives. We level the playing field for underrepresented demographics so that they have as much chance as everybody else to have their stories created and seen. I'm also on the board of directors of the Bella Levy Foundation. The goal of the Bella Levy Foundation is to fight human trafficking and to provide a safe haven for its warriors. So I'd say hello to Mimi. So nice to have her here again. And why don't you briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll begin.
Hey, Alan, I'm happy to be here. Mimi Kelly here. All of those things that are flying across the screen underneath, I'm all those. Filmmaker, playwright, essayist, have 2 novels, mom of 3 amazing sons, and married to my college sweetheart, my UCLA college sweetheart since the beginning of time. Those are my claims to fame.
Yeah. Okay. So, why don't you tell us how you got started in your creative lifestyle?
Oh, you want me to go way back there, Alan?
Well, sure. And then we'll focus on a couple of specific things.
Although it's always good for me to remember because we all have different paths. And there are no 2 paths that are the same. None of us have the same DNA. And so I think we're brought to creative spaces to share different passions. Everything is not supposed to be the same. So I came to the arts after a period where I just felt overwhelmed with life. It was, here in Los Angeles, right before I hate to date myself, but after the Rodney King riots. And so it had been this just stressful year. And now that I'm living in this era, I'm like, oh, shoot, that was nothing. That was just a piece of beans. But as a young adult, I just felt overwhelmed with life. And like my white picket fence was broken. My oldest son was being diagnosed with autism, and that just felt life-shattering and heartbreaking because in my white picket fence world, I was going to have 3 perfect children. And an SUV, and a white picket fence, and a tall, handsome husband, and everything was just going to be perfect. So that, I believe, it was like my first real feeling as an adult that, man, things are out of my control. And so I ended up going to Europe to visit my mother, who was a bigwig with the Department of Defense. And in my prayers, I felt like God was telling me to sit still and write creatively, although I had never written creatively before. And so I did, and here we are. Changed my life.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So, what was the first project and in which media was it that where people got to see your works?
I started off with books, and it was a period where they They
Hmm.
actually called it, I think, the Black Renaissance, where all of these new Black authors were coming forth. And several of us were self published. I remember running around bookstores and we would be bidding for space to do our book signings. But yeah, I started during that period. Um, and I started with a novel called On Edge. Of course, it was called On Edge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. Tell us about some of your live theater experience.
Ah, live theater. I love the theater. I'm so tired. I started my weekend on Friday night at my favorite theater here in LA, which is the Geffen Theater, which is right across the street from UCLA. And yeah, so I started off with plays, and it an interesting inspiration. I used to teach. I still teach, but at this particular time, I was teaching full time at a school in Watts. And so I wanted to reach out to the women in the community. And so I started a nonprofit called Sisters Supporting Sisters. And one of the things that the nonprofit did, we went around to homeless shelters and transitional shelters, and I shared something called Shout, which is Shine, Have Hope, Overcome, Use Your Power, and Take Charge. And so on, I was sharing my latest novel, Wing Supply, and Shout. And I was at a transitional shelter, and the women in the group said to me, "Ma'am, this was a really special presentation, but we think it's a play." And I went, hmm. And I listened to them. Whenever I would do the shout at shelters, I would take a vocalist with me, someone who could really blow a cappella. And so I would have us all in tears with this vocalist, and then I would do my readings. And so they said it was a play. And so I decided, again, in my prayerful moments, to see if I could pull together a team here in LA. Lucky me, I'm in LA, and there are a ton of creative professionals. And so I began to explore theater in Los Angeles and connect and build a team. And I put up my first play. Of course, it was called Shout. Yeah, I put up my first play, Shout, and just loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then did about three or four more before I entered a fellowship at the University of California for creative writing for the performing arts. And so that segued to filmmaking.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
here we are.
Here we are.
Here we
Yeah.
are.
Okay. So we want to talk about one night in LA, but and if you want, you could proceed that with what led you to come to produce One Night in LA.
Well,
What's the history behind it?
and the funny thing about One Night in LA, it started as a play. It was a play. And I had a movie night at my house on Saturday. And I had 8 women. My husband cooked us delicious gumbo. We had champagne. We had cocktails. Then we crawled up in my on my couch in my living room. I popped popcorn and we watched One Night in LA. And afterwards, they talked to me about the movie. Why am I telling you all of that? Because that was my most recent experience with One Night in LA. And it really is a community piece. You know, theater is about community. That's one thing that I love about theater. And even though I turned it into a movie, I would still love to see it on the stage. I want it at the Geffen. If there's anyone out there at the Geffen, Geffen, Geffen. Yeah, I want it at the Geffen. And but Saturday night, after we watched it, I got to talk to the women, and it was just, it really like fed my soul. It's really the reason that I write, because I love touching other people, and I love to hear their feedback about how the art moves them. I want to make art that moves you, that makes you, want to fly or want to cry or want to do something. Ain't no need to go into the movies and waste your time if it doesn't move you. That's the way I feel about it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What was the question, Alan?
Oh, well, you're, like, what was your path to making One Night in LA?
Oh, so it started as a play. I wrote it at the beginning of 2020, before we knew COVID was COVID. And I remember going in the room thinking, I'm writing this for myself. I don't owe anybody anything. And I'm going to sit down and just write. And that's the way I felt when I wrote On Edge. I didn't have any idea that I would end up on the book circuit. I was literally just writing for myself to rid myself of depression. This time, I was just writing for myself to fill myself up with peace about the journey. I didn't want to start 220 without feeling absolutely peaceful about wherever I was on the creative journey. And so this piece that I started, I didn't even call it One Night in LA. I called it Reading the Signs. Reading the Signs. And so I wrote it as a play. And then I saw Viola Davis and Denzel Washington in, oh God, what's the name of the movie that they did?
Fences, right?
Fences, August Wilson's Fences. And of course, because I was a playwright, I went back, my fellowship at the University of California was as a playwright. I knew about August Wilson. I'd seen a ton of his plays. And so I saw Viola and I saw Denzel, and I say, doggone it, I can make Reading the Signs into a doggone movie. And I'm getting ready to cross over to the other side. And so, yeah, and so I did, and I named it One Night in LA. I named it One Night in LA because it's literally one night. The Reading the Signs came from my wanting to be peaceful about where I was on my journey. And the Reading the Signs to me means that you're able to analyze, I don't want to say analyze, but you're able to see truth in different things and people and places that help you understand who you are and where you are. I'm deep, Alan. What can I say, doggone it? I'm silly. I'm really silly because I'm so tired. Friday night, I went to the play. Saturday night, I had the gathering at my house. Sunday, I went to a girlfriend's birthday party. Sunday night, I had my 2-month-old grandbaby. I have new babies in my life. And so I stayed up all night with him. And so I'm a little delirious. I'm sleepy as heck, Alan. Okay, next question.
So first I want to say hi to Tiara Williams. She's in the room here. Tiara and I have been working together for many years, and I'm trying to get her on my podcast, hopefully in a few weeks.
Wow.
Okay. So the subject matter for One Night in LA, what is that all about?
The subject matter in One Night in LA, the character has cancer, and she's dealing with her cancer. And the creative process is interesting. So I have her have cancer, but she's trying to find peace. on that journey. Like I was trying to find peace when I sat down in the room to write it. So she goes through 24 hours of examining her life and her relationships so that she can feel peaceful as she makes a decision about what to do next with the cancer.
Okay. Yeah. And tell us about the short film that preceded One Night in L.A.
Mm, um, the short film. I've done a short film. It's interesting because I haven't looked at that short, but in a long time. But it's like the short films I picked out different parts of the project that I wanted to center on. And so in the short film, I wanted to center on the family that is in the short film. So it's really all about the family. And I don't even think I get to the cancer in the short film. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I didn't get to the cancer in the short film. It was really just about her trying to find peace with the family. So yeah, as she's dealing with the cancer, she tries to find peace with her husband, her sons, her family, her mother. She's biracial, so that's another wrinkle in her life. And so she sort of deals with that. So yeah, that's the short films didn't have anything to do with the cancer. I didn't address it at all.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about the lead in One Night in L.A.
Oh my God, Victoria Platt. Victoria Platt. I loved her. I loved Gilbert Glenn. Um, both of them, amazing artists, and have incredible resumes and have done a little bit of everything in Hollywood. A lot of first-rate television shows, and it just goes to show how much talent there is in Hollywood. That you could be as talented as they are, and they not be household names yet. And it's their acting is one of the reasons why I will just go down fighting to share it because I just think it is such a treat to watch them together on the screen. It's really a satisfying experience.
Yeah, fantastic. About Victoria Platt, I was there's this film from the '90s called Alma's Rainbow,
Yeah.
and I got attracted to it because it's set and filmed in Brooklyn, which is where I'm
Okay.
from. So
Right.
but I didn't realize made the connection right away. Victoria Platt, was in that too. So I like the
Yes.
connection between that and One Night in L.A. So that's good.
Well, and she and Gilbert Glenn Brown are from. He was the male lead. Are from New York.
Yeah,
And the interesting thing, they had known each other, um, been really friends and grown up together, and so you saw that chemistry on the screen. It's a great performance for both of them.
yes. And so, do you have any plans to continue the story of One Night in LA and future
I
projects?
do, I do. I have the script, and actually, one night in LA, I decided to go ahead. I wrote this play of it. I wanted to write the play, and that was my way of, um, very therapeutic for me. But I, even before I wrote the play, I had written the movie that I now call the sequel, Every Night in LA, which is a bigger movie. It will take a bigger budget and a bigger cast and a bigger team. And I had tried to pull it together as an independent producer and was unable to do so. And so after writing the play, I realized, well, this is a piece of it that I could film and it could be a prelude to the movie, to the bigger movie that I want. So the bigger movie is Every Night in LA. I may change the title, but right now I'm keeping it at Every Night in LA. And I really want to have it by the end of the year, Alan. I start singing when I'm like not sure. Let me not sing. Let me be more confident. I want to shoot Every Night in LA by the end of the year.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
well, that's fantastic. And well, I support that effort, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're great.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's move on to another subject. They call the Georgia May Project.
Oh,
Tell us all about who Georgia May is and what the project is all about.
yes, the Georgia May Project. Oh man, it just goes to show how everything is interconnected. Because I chose cancer for the character in One Night in LA because my mom, Dr. Georgia May, battled cancer for 32 years. And so I grew up with this woman who, was always um, overcoming cancer. And so it was natural for me to use it as a plot point in my movie. And so the Georgia May Project came to me this year. I didn't know it was coming to me. But, God said, if you're going to have a movie with a character with cancer, why don't you see, uh, you know, how it is to be in the space with real breast cancer warriors? And so um, I also, at the same time, learned that Black women die at a 42% greater rate than white women from breast cancer, and that we're diagnosed younger, and that we have a more aggressive type of breast cancer, also, a lot of times. And so I decided to start a nonprofit to honor my mom, who's an amazing woman. I had already started working on her documentary, a documentary about her. And so I started the nonprofit Georgia May Project, and we want to amplify some of the, well, not amplify, but hopefully be a part of the solution to find solutions of the disparities for treatment. And also to just be an inspiration in the space. My mom lived with cancer for 32 years. So every woman that I've met with breast cancer, online or in Zoom, I tell them she is wielding them 32 plus 32. So 64 years. Um, so I'm excited. I'm excited about being in the space and amplifying the people who are supporters of breast cancer, warriors. I call them warriors, women with breast cancer. I look forward to partnering with medical professionals and learning more about, why there are disparities and how we can all put our heads together and come up with solutions. So I'm excited. It's been very exciting so far. And the website for it is different than Georgia May Project. The website is the Dr. Dr. Georgia May Project.com. So the Dr. Georgia May Project.com.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yes, I'm gonna
thank
put that
you
on
for
the on the screen.
yes, thank you for asking. And it's really inspired me to share One Night in LA more. Um, also. So it's a win-win for me.
Yeah. Let's see if this we got this right. The
Let's
Dr.
see.
Georgia May. Oh, I got the Georgia May Project.com. Oops, sorry about that.
Okay, put that May in and we're set.
Okay, we'll do that again. The
And you have the THR instead of THE.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Okay.
I should be drinking water.
Hopefully I got this right. Let's see if I got this right this time. Okay, here we go.
Did
The
you get it?
drjmayproject.com. There we
That's
go.
it.
That's it. Yeah. So, tell us about the documentary that you're making relative to this.
Oh God, the documentary is called Georgia May, a woman who refused to quit. Um, and through her story, I am I've come up with four different themes through her story. She was born poor and in the South. And I know, there are a lot of us, a lot of people who have had that journey, African Americans in America, African Americans in America, that's redundant. But there are a lot of women who have had that journey from the South to success. And I just wanted to honor her. So it starts off with her in the South. And so far, I've been interviewing a lot of her coworkers, family members, and it has four themes. It has one, she was a woman who believed in excellence, and she was always going to do her best in whatever circumstances. And then two, she battled cancer for 32 years. She had tuberculosis as a kid, as a teenager, pneumonia as a kid, and she just would not give up. She just always tried to see the silver lining in whatever it was that she was facing. So it has that theme. She loved community. She loved family. She loved friends and family. I think God repaid her for her generosity and her kindness. And so it has that theme. Um, and then she was like a wave. She just and I wish when I started when I finished doing a lot of the research, I thought, dog, I should have done this like 30 years ago. I would have been a much better woman. But she was like a wave. She just went around obstacles and difficulties, and she just never ever gave up. So those are the themes, and it's really America's history through the lens of Dr. Georgia May.
Nice. Yeah. We'll be looking forward to that. It's going to
Yes,
be a great story, for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And what other kinds of activities does the Georgia May project get involved with?
Well, right now I'm just beginning, and I have a wonderful board with my mother's coworkers, former educators with the Department of Defense. And so, one of the things that we're doing now is to just interview breast cancer warriors. I have another interview I'm going to put up on the website today, just to get an understanding of where they believe the problem actually lies. Um, and I'm learning that it's a multifaceted problem, like so much in our country. It's complex. Um, and so there are going to be a lot of different ways for us to try to make a difference in the space. But we have a board meeting next week. But right now, we are just trying to amplify the stories of the women. We are trying to be a source of inspiration. Um, and we are looking to begin to explore partnerships with some of the breast cancer medical providers to see about testing and research and those sort of things.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Where can where can people see the series of interviews that you're going to be conducting?
they will be on the Dr. Georgia May project.com, not .com, Facebook page. Right now, I'm putting them on the Facebook page.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and it is the exact same as the website, except for it doesn't have the .com. but
Yeah.
the interviews will be on the website. I also want to do a documentary with some of the interviews, hopefully, where I will, because one of the things I am learning from women who face breast cancer is that they are strong women who just are like my mom. You know, if they survive, they're determined to thrive. And so I want to have a follow up documentary that will just be called Breast Cancer Warriors Who Refuse to Quit.
Hmm.
So,
It's great.
yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So you have tell us about the podcast that you have.
Mm, uh, it's there. You know what? It's hard to be all things, Ellen. It's hard to be all things, but it's the Shout podcast, and it's on Spotify. Shine, have hope, overcome, use your power, take charge. And so when I meet someone who really touches my life and I think they will touch others, I want to shout with them. I want to talk about how they shine and how they have hope and how they overcome the obstacles and what they use for their power. I use God, but I know others have um, it's not a religious podcast per se. And then just taking the time to talk to other people is the testimony. So, yep, I'm on Spotify at Shout.
Right, shout. Yes. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Um, let's see. This there was one time you had something called Hollywood Prayer and Support. Tell us about that.
Mm. That's my little new media comedy, which I'm getting ready to do again. Oh my God. I'm doing so many things. We're going to follow up because I got a lot of stories I want to tell for Hollywood Prayer and Support. And I've decided I'm going to be one of the cast members this time. So I'm really looking forward to it. But it's a virtual um, web series about a group of actors and creatives in Los Angeles who come together in the Zoom. They're supposed to come together to support one another, but that doesn't always happen. There's a lot of stuff that jumps off in the Zoom with this group. It's a comedy, and it made me laugh. It made me, when I wrote it, I could hear the laughter down the street. I just laughed so hard when I wrote it. And so I'm looking forward to writing it again because I need to laugh. I write stuff for myself, basically. Yeah, it's my therapy. Writing is my therapy.
Well, that's a great therapy, and the side effect of that is that other people get to enjoy you expressing yourself.
Yes, they get to enjoy my therapy. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to serving up some more.
fantastic. Yeah. So, uh, going back to one night in L.A., can you relate any roadblocks that you encountered while trying to get the film made or
Did you
edited or distributed or
did you
whatever?
say roadblocks? What about mountains?
Okay, mountains.
What about Hollywood mountains with the Hollywood sign on it? Oh my God. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to, well, it wasn't hard. Once I set my mind to it, I knew it was going to happen. I had a pretty good skeleton team around me that I could go to for support, including you, Alan. Support hashtag our creative. Um, and the biggest obstacle, what was the biggest obstacle? Biggest obstacle is always having the faith that you can do it. That's always the biggest obstacle. Once you understand that you can do something, then hey, watch out, world. So the biggest obstacle was me having faith that I could do it. Once I just knew that I was, not going to accept no, I just didn't accept no. So I'm trying to think. Hmm. I guess money. It's always money is an
Yeah.
issue. That's always whether or not you have enough money to do something. Filmmaking can be very expensive. Um, but in the state of, you know, technology that we're in, we all have a greater chance of getting things done because there's just, there's so many different crew members out there that you can find. You can find cinematographers who are working independently. You can find, costume designers that are working independently. There's just a ton of creatives who are looking to attach to great projects. So it's pretty easy to find people once you set your mind to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, the indie world is, it's nice that, there are all these resources that you can use and stay within the indie world, get your
Yes.
films made.
Yes. Yes. Um, and once people decide that they like the project and they like the story, one person introduces you to another, and it just sort of snowballs. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see what else. Oh, yes.
I don't know. I don't know if my answers are so great tonight. I didn't prepare answers. I don't have any notes in front of me, so that's my
You're doing,
disclaimer.
this is doing, you're doing fine. Yeah. It's, okay. What are the distribution plans for One Night in LA?
Mm. Um, you know what? Can I just say I'm not sure because I haven't. At first, I really wanted to sell it outright and to have it on a platform, and just go like this and be done with it. That was my initial goal. And I did land a sales agent, and um, he had a producer who trotted it out and shopped it around, and we thought we had a deal. And then the strike came. And now that it is back with me, and now that I have the Georgia May project, and now that I've experienced an evening um, movie night with 8 women, I want to be clear about what's the best way for women to enjoy it. And so I'm going to sit with it. I'm
Okay.
sitting with it for a moment while I figure out what is the best way for women to enjoy it and what is the best way to get it to them. It's got to be this year, as far as I'm concerned. Um, and so I'm sitting with it to figure out in the next couple of weeks what our plan will be.
Sure. It sounds like your get together the other night is really going to be instrumental in guiding determining your path.
Yeah, it really did. It touched me. Also, um, being with the breast cancer um, advocates and breast survivors that I've met so far, that's touched me also. So the most important thing for me um, is that women get to enjoy it, that they get to enjoy it, and that it can be a space for community to talk, um, for us to talk about what's important for us to stay healthy physically and mentally and emotionally. That's what it's really about.
Well, it sounds like that you are in the process of formulating something that will be very successful. And once you decide the best way of doing it,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, and I'm not so sure if it being on a streamer um, would be the best way to do that. I'm Yeah, I'm not so sure of that.
okay. Well, give it careful thought. Don't
Yeah,
rush into anything,
yeah,
and it's interesting. It's interesting that you said that you don't think being on a streamer is the way to go. So let's see what unique and innovative things you come up with in the months to
yeah,
come.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll find out eventually. Yeah,
It's
it's
an
fantastic.
exciting time, and the technology allows us to do just about anything if we put our minds to, you know?
Yes,
So,
for sure.
oh.
Yeah. So tell us about elevated stories.
Elevated Stories, my website. Um, I chose that name because I like movies. I love comedies. I really do. But I also love movies that really just touch something deep in me. And I call those elevated stories. Um, and so, yeah, I have my own platform that I call Elevated Stories, where you can go there and watch trailers for my short films and um, trailers for plays. It's elevatedstories.me. Yes.
Nice. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to bring up that we haven't discussed yet?
Oh my God, Georgia May Project, One Night in LA, Every Night in LA, elevatedstories.me, Hollywood Prayer and Support. It's coming back, y'all.
Oh, nice.
Uh, yeah, it's coming back. I went to the play with the star of Hollywood Prayer and Support, which is Larita Shelby. She's another woman that is just an amazing artist and actress. Um, and so she and I began to talk about its comeback. But I think we covered it. I think we covered it. Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm good that people got to hear, what makes you tick and your inspirations for your different projects.
Thank
So
you. I hope
that's
my answers were okay because, like I said, it was a full weekend and I am tired.
yeah,
But
right. Well, people can go to the various websites that you mentioned and
yes,
learn more about you. And I'm going to put up the other link again right now, the Georgia May one, so people can see
yes.
that again.
And
Hopefully,
One Night in LA is One Night in LA movie on Facebook and also Instagram.
oh, good point. Yeah, I'll put that up too. Okay, one night in LA movie on FB and IG. Okay, let's see if I get that right.
Alan, you're good. That's
One Night
it.
in LA movie on Facebook and Instagram. There you
That's
go.
it. That's it. You're good, Alan. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
And also on Elevated Stories, there's also a page for One Night in LA that you can
Yes,
go to, and
yes.
then you
And
get to
so
see the
if
trailer and stuff like that.
yes, if you hit one night in LA.com, it will take you straight to that page.
Oh, another good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought,
OneNightInLA.com.
woo, a lot.
Nice. Yeah. And once again, here's the let's see, here it is. The drgeorgiamayproject.com is
Hmm.
the work in
And
progress.
and we are, yes, we are a work in progress. We are a new nonprofit. Our mission statement is there. I guess I need to memorize it. I don't have it memorized. But our mission statement is there. And just give us time before we make an impact. I don't want to do a lot of stuff willy nilly. I really think we're going to have two major events a year to make an impact. Um, and we're working on those.
Great. Yeah.
Yes.
This is, yeah, I mean, this is so important.
Yes.
With women talking about their experiences fighting breast cancer.
Yes. It's so important. It really is.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you, Mimi, for being with us today.
Thank you for
You
having
know,
me.
yeah. So as I said, so once again, the drgeorgiamayproject.com, one night in LA, and follow Mimi on Facebook and everything. So you'll be able to see all the latest stuff that's coming up with her. And I'm glad that we hooked up
Yes.
through
We,
Clubhouse. By the way, that's how we actually met
that's
each other.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, with that, well, I'm gonna get ready to say good night, and we'll see you on our next show. Hopefully, I'll tell you. And by the way, let people know that it's also going to be seen on Spotify. Within a few days, we'll have it up there, so people who haven't um, seen this live broadcast will do that. There's the Supporter Hashtag Creatives on Spotify, and we'll get the episode up there very soon. This episode right here, as well as all my previous episodes, are also on there too. So don't forget that. Okay. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, Mimi, and good night,
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you, Alan. That's cool. Are we still